Okay. So we are selecting AI manager roles, okay, and we will be preparing in that direction. We will also, try to apply for relevant roles around this. So AI manager for now, we are anchoring on this role, and accordingly, we will start our preparation. And whatever roles comes around it, we will try to, apply on those locations, and I'll try to position you for those specific roles. That is what is the objective. Other information you have to fulfill today, and once you are done,
Okay.
save your profile. So it should be
Sure.
around percent or 100%. Okay. So this is what the second part which you have to do today is you have to go to resume analysis and upload your resume here. So once you log to this account, you have to go to resume after fulfilling all your career profile information, come to resume analysis. And in the resume analysis, you have to upload one resume so that the system will get to have a history around you. Okay. So why we will be preparing for our targeted roles? The system will have a clear context with what skill sets you already have and what are the gaps so that we can fix and move faster in an optimized way for our targeted role and the targeted salary band which we are targeting. So objective of this program is clear that we have to crack a targeted role and we have to crack a targeted salary band, and whatever is required in order to accomplish that, we have to prepare and we have to get it done. This is what is the objective of the program. Okay. So be it reading, be it evaluations, be it projects. So everything we have to cover here, be it resume analysis, be it resume fixation, everything we'll do it end to end. Okay. So the program completes as soon as we get you placed in an organization where your profile suits best. Okay. That is how we have to move forward. Then here is the career compass, which gives us a little information about what kind of skill set is in demand for this AI manager role. Okay. So eventually, as soon as we progress further, we'll try to take more relevant job profiles across it and different companies, those who are, those who are hiring for these kind of roles. And we are going to optimize our preparations accordingly. And then we will try to get our resumes done and we will try to get shortlisted for interviews. And then we'll try to solve those interview, selection as well. So the objective is simple: identify what is the demand, then prepare, get a mock interview across all those skill sets, identify the gaps and missing points, fix that missing point on the very same day, and move forward. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a clear step-by-step roadmap also for you, what all we need to cover and what all we need to get evaluated on, so that you and me are on the same page and we will, move accordingly. Now, so this kind of role starts somewhere from stakeholder management. That is a skill to have, important one. Strategic leadership, problem solving abilities, decision making abilities, continuous improvement of the AI models, whatever is deployed, depending on new drifts or whatever is coming on the model, while new improvements are required, and on the go, these models have to be updated and improved. The system should be improved. Similarly, how would we design an AI strategy and how we execute AI strategies? Because majority of the businesses are moving towards generative AI, implementation of agentic AI. That is what is a core demand at the moment. Majority of these organizations are getting into agentic AI implementation. So how do we have to design the strategy across this, and how we have to get it executed? Followed by responsible AI, how we are going to get adoption of AI done in the appropriate organizations with governance, with mapping with respect to their current operations, measuring how that model is performing, governing that appropriately, so that things are under control. There is no data leakage, there is no personal information leakage, and all of that. So we have to take care of that. Followed by leadership and team management skills, backlog prioritization. LangChain is an important one. While these agents and these generative AI applications are built on LangChain, the LLMs and all of that, which are the need of the hours. Then, so team leadership, people management is one such skill which we need to have, which we need to be aware of, because we have to handle people, those who are new, those who are using this technology, and with your experience, you have to get those things executed at an enterprise level, at a production grade level. That is what is needed, because this new teams, they don't have that relevant experience. Okay, what they miss is the experience. Similarly, in fact, the AI technology, they can bring intelligence, but they cannot bring experience. AI is very weak at experience at this moment. I'm not sure how they are going to enrich themselves with the experience part, but eventually, as soon as we progress further, in fact, what I am seeing, there is a uh, you know these large MNCs, those who have started laying off people, somewhat they have started realizing that experience cannot be replaced with AI, and that is where they have a 88 to 90% failure rates while when they are taking their pilots to production. So they are failing, and this is what is the actual data which is published. Recently, Amazon published their stats, and they have mentioned that across different businesses where they tried to implement agentic AI, 88% is the failure rate of all the POCs done across different businesses. 88% of them failed at production level. So that is why they are now investing $1 million to create FDE units. FDE is forward deployed engineers, and these forward deployed engineers help these businesses adopt AI and use AI in order to get their challenges solved or so. So we have to cover up all of these things, then agile development, AI model architectures, ML operations. You need to be a bit aware of programming in Python, Java, programming in C++. These skills are, it is good to know them. Eventually, you don't need to write that code. There would be somebody who would be writing that code, but obviously, if you have an understanding, that is a plus. Okay, so that you can communicate well with the technical stakeholders as well as non-technical stakeholders, both. So if you have a programming awareness, so what is your status, sir? Do you know any programming language? Were you using something? Were you writing code earlier?
No, yeah, in my initial days I used to write code, but not nowadays. In the sense, Python, Java, C++. No, I never wrote any code in this. Yeah,
Okay.
SQL is the one which I'm very comfortable.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So then there are certain frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch. These are required. Then there are certain industrial protocols which we need to be aware of while getting these AI integrated into industrial systems. Then industrial control systems, SCADA systems. Then having stakeholder communication with technical decisions, and where trade-offs needs to be done about what to adopt, what to lose, what to have. All of those discussions with top management. Sometimes this AI manager role is very, very important to have a technical discussion with management and with a technical team at place. So how we would be dealing with such cases, so we will discuss all of that. Okay, followed by agile methodologies, scrum methodologies, which you are aware of. Then we have to have a little peek into agentic AI frameworks, multi-agent orchestrations, how LLMs work, then how ML ops and AI ops work. So all these we would be covering in this particular program. So what is the meaning of covering? That we are going to evaluate all of these skill sets in a mock interview round, and whatever gaps we identify, I will provide you content so that you can fix those gaps. Okay. The objective is to clear the interview round. So now what we have to do, we have to identify what kind of question comes in each category. We have to take an interview, mock interview round of 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes so that you will get to know, okay, how am I practically feeling when this question comes and what are the gaps? Either I may not be able to answer at all, or I may be able to answer 10, 20, 30%. So what is that exact number we are going to identify? We will identify what all missing points are there, and I'm going to give you content around it so that you can prepare that on that respective day. Okay. Since you can see there are around let's say 30 skills which are found here. So at least it will take 30 days to get these evaluations done. Okay. And so every single day, whichever skill we are evaluating, we have to be focused on that skill only and complete, the content around it. So that at least in 30 days, we will have a know-how of around 30 different skill sets which are required for this role. Okay. And at least 10, 12 questions across each skill set. So my first target for next 30 days is to have around, let's say, 30 into 12 questions, around 360 questions we have to take up in next 30 sessions. Okay. So with this 360 questions, you will be aware about a lot of things about what kind of questions comes and what is the standard answer which I need to give, what all missing points are there, and wherever there is a gap, I'm going to provide you a training content or I'll train you accordingly with respect to projects, with respect to certain previous projects which I have already done, certain new projects which industry is needing. So we will introduce those projects in your in your resume so that it looks more relevant, and that is how we are going to move forward. Okay, I believe this is clear. So initial
Yeah.
would be evaluations and then fixing those gaps. Then in case if we know nothing, then we will get into a project oriented approach so that we start implementing something so that we gain more confidence and then we move on next.
Yeah.
So this is what we are going to do. Now, so this is the overall, set of skill set which we have to cover. I'm going to convert this into a sequential arrangement. I'm going to categorize these skill set into start to end. How these will be applied for an AI manager role, and we are going to conduct that in that respective sequence. So I'm going to share that roadmap with you. Okay. Now, so let's say here's an example. Here are some 4 or 5 roles which are available in front of you, which we will use to get started with. Now let's say so here let's say if you see, suppose here is the AI manager role at Hitachi. Okay, it's a remote role where they are looking for a 10 years plus experienced AI ML professional with 5+ years in leadership roles where they were managing agile systems and they are looking for an AI manager role. Okay. And this is the estimated salary pack in India, around 70 to 100 LPA. Okay. Eventually, I think our initial target is somewhere here above 40 LPA. I think your last CTC was I think 40 plus LPA, I believe, which you have told me.
No, no. In 2010, it was 12 LPA.
It was
in 2010,
in
12
2000,
15 LPA, 15
15.
LPA in 2010.
What was your last
One
drawn
five one.
CTC?
In 2010, it was 15 LPA.
Okay. No. Recently, I'm asking about the recent last draw.
Yeah. Recent last one was 12 LPA.
12 LPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the gap, they offered me that 12 LPA.
Okay. Okay. And you're working with which organization, sir? Last?
KST Infotech.
Can you please spell KS
KST
KST
T for yeah,
Infotech?
Infotech.
Okay.
Chennai.
And
Chennai.
this is located in Chennai. And is this a
Yeah.
remote setting or you are in Chennai?
I was in Chennai. Yeah.
Achha, you are located in Chennai as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
For 8 months, I was located in Chennai, looking after all the projects related to that implementation of that healthcare product, which we developed for an US-based client.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. So I believe so we have to be in that range, we have to make your profile relevant. And from 12 LPA, let's say, we can have a reasonable estimate initially. And eventually we have to reach to a salary band, let's say, of 35 to 55 LPA. But that will not happen in one go. So we have to do at least 1 or 2 transitions that would be required, I believe. So first we have to come to a relevant AI role with a updated package from this 12 LPA to a reasonable package. And then from that reasonable package, we have to jump. So there would be, I think, 2 jumps would be required, I believe, to reach out to a optimal band. Okay. So that is how we are going to proceed further. So first target is to crack at least, let's say, 50% hike in the next role with what you currently have. So 50% hike on it, because that is reasonable. So in fact, we can expect 100% hike also, but for a new talent, it becomes a little easy. For a high experienced professional, it becomes very difficult sometimes to have 100% hike. But we will see how we can do that. So eventually, we have to either take multiple jumps in order to reach out to our targeted, salary band. So I believe you are ready for that. We can go for 1 or 2
Yes.
transitions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Similarly, so we will be taking up a couple of roles. So let's say AI manager, Honeywell is hiring, Hitachi is hiring, and Visa is hiring. So we will be, preparing across these kind of roles so that we can target these organizations. Okay. And similar organizations with respect to this reputation in the market. Okay. So we'll be targeting these kind of MNCs and we'll move accordingly. We'll move forward. Okay. So this is how we are going to get started. So this is just for your information. So let's say in this, there are certain skill sets which are required, which needs to be there on our resume. Apart from that, we should be able to handle questions coming around these skills and experience and projects. We should be able to justify them. So this is how we are going to prepare it, with interview question and answers, and with quizzes, with content around it, so that we are clear with the foundations. We shall be able to reproduce, those learnings into an appropriate answer, and then we have to evaluate. We have to get these answers evaluated so that we are touching at least a 75%, 80% acceptance threshold. Okay. Readiness threshold. So there is a readiness parameter which we have to touch, and the readiness parameter should be above 70%. Okay. Then we will be able to start position you with different organization. So initially the numbers might be a little less, so we don't need to worry about it. But eventually the target is to have, thresholds, scoring thresholds above 70%. That is what is needed. So I think we are clear till here. So what we will do, so I'm going to organize this into this category. Okay. 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 So I believe you're clear with the idea so far, how we are going to proceed further, and what all we are going to cover. There would be certain skill sets which you already have on the basis of your gap report, which I have done. So we'll review those. We'll try to review those skill sets, or we will, proceed in sequence of how these skill sets would be applied to your, AI manager roles. So I'm going to categorize it appropriately. And on the basis of that category, then we will start, foundational preparations and evaluations across it. So I'm going to make that roadmap today, and I'm going to share that roadmap with you. Okay. And tomorrow, and for the first set of skill set in the next session, I'm going to explain that roadmap to you, how we are going to apply each skill step by step, and how it would be applied in the real use case as an AI manager. Then what we will do, so I'm going to give you content for each skill set which I have to evaluate. You have to prepare around it, and in the next session we are going to, start an evaluation. On the basis of that evaluation, we'll get to have an anchor where we will get to know, okay, what is the readiness, what are certain, strengths and weaknesses. So we will be able to understand more about your technical readiness and communication readiness across that role. And then we will try to fill those gaps and move ahead step by step. So that is how we are going to proceed further. Okay. I believe this is clear.
Yeah.
So let's do this way. What I'll do, I'm going to make a roadmap today on the basis of this understanding. I'm going to share that roadmap. Also, I'm going to update your wallet balance today, so that we can start using this account, and Rest tomorrow, we will get started with the roadmap, understanding about what all we have to cover in sequence. And I'm going to share one content along with that roadmap. So roadmap, I'm going to share it today. Apart from that roadmap, I try to see what are the first top level skills, maybe in business discovery or business framing. So I'm going to try to provide you a relevant content for that. Try to have a good read around it so that tomorrow we can have an evaluation round also. So after roadmap, we'll have an understanding around, we'll do one mock. On the basis of that mock, we'll have some numbers, and then we'll start, performing and improving those numbers in order to crack the role. That is how we are going to move forward. So the idea is measure the KPIs, measure the key performing indicators, whatever is required for our targeted role, and focus wherever we have low numbers below the threshold. Try to fix those numbers step by step and move towards the targeted role. That is how we are going to move forward in this program. Okay, I believe this is clear.
Yeah.
Great.